So currently we're clearing the area, and it does show on ADSB that we do have a plane somewhere off. I don't know, is that our 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock?
300 feet under us now.
Okay. We'll continue this way. I don't see them yet. So before all your maneuvers, clear the area. Even if you're doing multiple maneuvers, in between, like if you're doing steep turns and stalls, in between each of those you should do another clearing turn just to make sure the area is clear, especially when you're over Folsom Lake or in a popular training area.
6.7 United 1422.
Testing out the trim here. It's also just bumpy. We're currently at 3,500 feet, so you don't want, most of the private pilot maneuvers, you want to be able to complete them no lower than 1,500 feet AGL. First thing we're going to do is get into slow flight. Slow flight is something that you have to do on your approach to landing, so that's why it's important to understand how the plane behaves at such a slow maneuver. First thing I'm going to do, though, is a cruise checklist really quick. So I am going to turn the fuel pump on for maneuvers. Usually I wouldn't cruise with the fuel pump on, but we'll do that. And I am going to lean the mixture a little bit for altitude. We're going to keep the landing lights on for visibility. Flaps are down, carpeet's off. My instruments look pretty good. We're dealing with some thermals today. First thing we're going to do is find something to stare at outside, ideally, which there's not much because it's very hazy due to all the smoke, but we will do our best. We're going to face these hills over here and clear the area while doing so.
806, we're going to do low approach at Rancho and back to you.
That trim setting's not working out for me.
2706, roger, frequency change crew.
Change your crew, bus star 806.
I'm going to stare at this flat cloud.
A good spot.
For now, I'm just going to use 3,400 for this entry altitude, kind of for the sake of time. So slow flight, you're just going to start configuring as if you were to land the plane. So I'm going to go ahead and power back to 2,100. In the Cessna, I would probably just do 2,000. And then I'm within the white arc, so I'll do flaps 10. And I'm going to need a little bit of up trim. Because now that we're slower, we need a little bit higher angle of attack to maintain level. Watching my speed, it's slowly bleeding off, and that's what I want. I want it to slowly deteriorate. I don't want it to like rapidly lose any altitude. I just put my second notch of flaps in. I'm looking outside, still at this, the edge of this little flat cloud right now, but my eyes are outside primarily. Airspeed's bleeding off. I am also descending, so I could both slow down and gain altitude by pitching up. When you're in slow flight, typically it's pitch for airspeed, power for altitude, so I'm going to add a little bit of power to maintain 3,400.
Hill 3 up to 900,000.
123944.
We're aiming for about 60 miles per hour here. You want to be about 5 to 10 miles per hour above stall speed, and then this plane is about 55 with flaps in. So we'll do full flaps now. I'm going to add some power so I don't descend, because with flaps the plane's going to want to descend. So I'm about at 2,400 RPMs right now, and I'm maintaining around 60. And I believe for slow flight, your parameters are, you can be within 10 knots past your target speed, but you can't be slower. So plus 10, minus 0. Alright, now we're in slow flight. I got back up to 3,500. So typically with students, what I'll have you guys do in slow flight is I'll have you try out some banks. Just like banking to the left and to the right. Everything is very shallow. You're in a very fragile state of flight right now. Any abrupt increase in bank or in pitch could result in the stall light going off, or in the Cessna, the stall horn going off. And in the Cessna, I usually do about 55 miles per hour, so we're a little faster in the Piper than we would be in the Cessna. I am climbing a little bit, so I'm going to pull out some power. Power for altitude, pitch for airspeed. Maintaining clear visual all around. And I'm slowly descending, so that's good. I'm just going to leave the power here. Any of my climbs and descents, it doesn't need to be the 500 feet per minute. It could be 100 feet per minute. call that another clearing turn.
Departure good afternoon, technique 203 Bravo Golf.
And then if I wanted to clean up slow flight, all I would do is retract the flaps slowly. I would leave the power where it is. I would just take out the flaps, and that'll actually essentially clean up your slow flight for you. You don't have to do a whole lot to clean it up.